Russia is really threatening NATO and U.S. allies in terms of not sending more support for Ukraine at this moment, because right now Russia is saying a number of things this morning in new documents that have been revealed that have been obtained by NATO, which the Secretary of General says he has reviewed. So they're denying plans to invade Ukraine. They're also demanding that NATO deny membership to Ukraine and ex-Soviet states, and also asking the U.S. and NATO allies to not be doing advanced drills that are near Russian space. Now, the NATO allies, the U.S., these European countries, they have rejected those demands before, and the NATO Secretary of General actually received the letter. He read it, and he is releasing this following statement saying, quote, that any conversation with Russia would also need to address NATO's concerns about Russia's actions, be based on core principles and documents of European security, and take place in consultation with NATO's European partners, such as Ukraine. Now, we're awaiting a response from the Biden administration. President Biden delivered a commencement address at South Carolina State University this morning, and he'll be heading back home to Wilmington, Delaware later this afternoon. So we'll see if he even responds before the weekend. Back to you.
National Correspondent Logan Ratick live for us. Logan, good to see you. Thank you. All right, for more on that story, we'll bring in Senator Mike Braun from Indiana. Senator, good to see you, and thank you for your time. I'll dive right into that report there from Logan. Your reaction, Russia laying out these tough demands, does not want Ukraine a part of NATO and making a firm stance on that. Your thoughts on this?
You know, I think their behavior recently and that of China is due almost entirely to the fact that they think President Biden is pliable in terms of what they can get done with him. I mean, the fact that you amass troops first, enhance your bargaining position, and then start laying out the lay of the land according to your perspective, especially when, you know, we've said things in the past, drawn red lines, and then not backed it up. So I think it'll be interesting because they've got the president in a pickle. He's dealing with so many other issues to boot. I think that, you know, their current mantra from the White House is circle the wagons with our allies. If you do make an aggressive move, you're going to really pay the price. How that gets fleshed out in the event that he does, I think remains to be seen. I think in general, there's a different attitude vis-a-vis them and Biden versus them and Trump. I think there was probably less certainty about what Trump might do. There was a general context of strength as well. I don't think troops would have been amassed at the border prior to it. I think a lot just remains to be seen if they practice what they've been preaching here recently.
And it's not just Russia. You're seeing China strengthening as well at this time, too. But I'll push domestically here with you if I can. President Biden now saying his Build Back Better agenda will not get passed before 2022, tweeting out the following. The Build Back Better Act will lower the core costs that have held Americans for decades on everything from health care and child care to prescription drugs and housing. No Republican in Congress supports it, end quote. Your thoughts on this? I mean, the goalposts moved from October to Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas Day. Now it doesn't appear it's happening this year, Senator.
You know, it's been an embarrassment because, of course, it's based upon something. I listened to your earlier segment. Even the Vatican is cutting back. You can't run deficits year after year and expect things to work out. This has been built on a house of cards, I think, from the beginning. I got here a little under 3 years ago. We were 18 trillion in debt. Now we're nearing 30. That's a good reason in and of itself. Sadly, we've been dependent on two conservative Democrats. Imagine if they had another few senators, we'd be getting closer, I think, to the Bernie Sanders plan of 4 or 5 times as much. Whether this is going to actually get put together, Manchin's been very public. He looks like he's actually listening to his constituents. I've observed him in the time I've been here. He generally comes around. This has a different tone to it. They put a lot of capital into it. I think the most embarrassing would be for Pelosi when she said they're going to be hooked together. Remember the hard infrastructure bill? This fell apart. They had to decouple it. Went to the White House, see if he could, you know, kind of galvanize either cinema or Manchin. It's bad policy. It's a wish list. The parliamentarian has kicked a few things out recently. They're running into one roadblock after another. Thank goodness we can't afford it anyway.
And final thoughts, 15 seconds from you. They're now switching, the White House is switching the focus from BBB, shelving it, to voting rights. What's the attempt here? What do you make of it?
That was their main thrust, to breach the filibuster. And here again, you've just got two Democrats that are saying they don't want to do it. It's so precarious. That's why we need to get our policies out there and win one of the chambers back in 2022 to put a tourniquet on all of this craziness.
All right, Senator Mike Braun joining us live. Senator, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for your time.
Same to you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.